Hey everybody, CreamCrazy here, and well, technically it is still Christmas Day, and I hope you've all had a very Merry Christmas. And well, I'm wondering to myself right now as I start recording this video, what did you lot get wrestling-wise for Christmas? Did you get the Money in the Bank DVD? Maybe? Did you get WWE 12? Maybe? Do you know what I got wrestling related? I mean, because so you know what, my dad, being good, knows I likes wrestling. He usually buys me a private eye annual every year. I said, okay, I'm getting off in. I'm not really liking Ian Hislop's humour nowadays. Do you know what he got me? WWE annual. Yeah. Not much, but hell, I said to myself when I was booking, I thought, oh cool, I can look inside this to look at the propaganda that WWE would stick in a book like this. Not much, but hell, nice to think he thought about me. You know, it's all good stuff. Thanks, Dad. Nonetheless, this video is my special Christmas present to you all. I gave you an extra one yesterday with the message to the WWE Creative, which has resonated a lot with the people. If you haven't seen it, click the video tab up there. It'll be there. I've got that out of the way. I can get onto the video at hand, though, because I did some calculations, and I had a look, and I found out that Rock vs. Cena is only 97 days away. I would have hoped I could have done this video on the 100th day, but you can't have everything, can you? And I was thinking to myself, when I put this video topic up, I thought, what would be a great idea knowing that it'll be Christmas? We're going to think, what has Rock vs. Cena been like so far? And, in better idea, how it should go down in the months ahead. Because we know the road to Wrestlemania is where this feud really will kickstart. You know that from January till March and then to the first day of April, we're going to see something great. You know, we're going to see the blossoming of this feud into something exciting in the lead-up to the most anticipated WrestleMania in quite some time. Then again, I could say that every year, but then I haven't been that excited about WrestleMania, well, since 23. I haven't been that fully excited for WrestleMania since then, so, yeah. And then again, Rock vs. Cena to me is a match that some would say is a great dream match, and it is. But to me, I look at it with a fear of trepidation, like many would. And I look at how it's gone so far, because obviously, as you know, if you haven't, that Rock Cena was... It started really in February when Rock came back, smack talk Cena. We know they've been at each other verbally on the internet for some time now. And Rock came back, ripped into Cena some. Then, at WrestleMania, of course, guest host, Rock bottomed Cena and cost him the title. The match was then set up for WrestleMania the next night. And we get to the point where we are now after Survivor Series tag match, Rock's birthday celebrations, a Mick Foley This Is Your Life thing, which was not very good. We look at this feud as where it's gotten so far. I've got some pros and I've got some cons to kind of bring in and sum up what I think matters in this feud. Now, one, let's start for the pros first, because it's always good to start with the positives. Well, let's hope it is, because that's something we all need to worry about, because at Christmas, it's always good to start with the positives, right? Rock has used the rivalry... Not used the rivalry. Yeah, I see, it's been a long day, I think you can all tell. He's used the internet well to be able to freely bash Cena without restrictions, making the rivalry seem more real and more personal than most WWE rivalries could ever be. Now this is great, because if you've ever noted that if you've seen John Cena's tweets are probably those kind of tweets that you'd expect a WWE employee to put out there, where you can kind of tell they're scripted for him to post out at specific times, right? With The Rock, he of course is not under contract, so he can basically slag off Cena in any way he pleases, and to be honest, that's where the boots to asses thing came from. And it's all that he's used it to be able to say to people, look, this isn't WWE talking. This is Dwayne The Rock Johnson talking. This is me saying what I want to say. And it was epitomised by a video he stuck online overlooking, I think was a desert area. I'm not entirely sure, but it looked bloody nice. And he basically ripped into Cena for about half an hour, something like that. And it was a great video that made the year so much better. Haven't seen it? It's online somewhere. I can't remember where I got the link from. You can find it in the archive, the Sun's wrestling section. I mean, I don't know where to find it, so you guys have to do that for yourself. I feel this makes it a lot more intense, that Rock really seems to hate Cena in this way, and he's trying to make himself, well, kind of look, in one sense, the good guy for the smarks out there, because we all want to see Cena get his comeuppance, don't we? And second, it's making the other fans, the Cena fans, really hate the guy. But then again, to be honest, have you actually seen that many Cena fans boo The Rock? No. And that's because he's The Rock. He's got that aura around him. I think this has obviously helped him. The rivalry hasn't happened on air because Rock hasn't made too many appearances, but because of the internet, because of Twitter, this has managed to be able to get somewhere. And that's something decent, at least, for the Twitter explosion that's recently happened on WWE's product. Number 2. Cena's distraction with The Rock has allowed others to be in the title picture. CM Punk, Alberto Del Rio, and The Miz. This rivalry has made these guys get in the title picture. I mean, especially for Punk and Del Rio, because, well, I know Del Rio had a bit of a problem with losing the title to Cena and then getting it back. But of course, Punk fully capitalised on that, became champion at Survivor Series. Huzzah! And it's where we can say now we've got something fresh, where Cena is doing something else. At the moment, of course, he's feuding with Kane, probably. He's got The Rock in his crosshairs all the time. Everywhere he looks, he's probably thinking, is Rock going to come out and hit me? And basically, he doesn't have to be in the title picture. We get some refreshing ideas, new challenges, new champions in some cases, and it works to a T when you think this is not the same old shit. This is quite interesting to see where it goes from here. Good stuff. And it's basically something we've all asked for, especially knowing that Cena won the title 3 times in the last year. It's good to see that someone else has got the belt, and someone else is fighting for the belt. Advancement of mid-card to main event talent? I'll thumbs that up. 100%. And number 3. After being announced in April, people have been psyched for the Mania since. Because there are a lot of people out there. A lot of you Rock marks, and to be honest, some Cena marks too, who are saying, we can't wait for this. And I know some people are going to WrestleMania, you lucky bastards. And I feel that if this was announced any other time, you probably would get more excited. But the fact they announced it in advance, the first time ever that a WrestleMania main event's been put out in advance, they're saying, holy shit, I want this so bad. People have been hyping Mania now around this match. WWE wants the unique selling point to be Rock Cena. They want to get it out early, so the promotion, and in fact, if it wasn't for that, I don't think WrestleMania could have sold out quickly. Because I think it's sold out really quickly. The fastest selling WrestleMania, I think, since 24. I could be wrong. It could be 25. Could have sold out pretty well. I don't know though. So what you got to do is think. This WrestleMania couldn't have been something that good if this wasn't announced at the time it did. So let's all hope that it turned out to be a good match anyway. The cons, however, are something which everybody should understand. That these cons, I think, are paramount. Number 1, Cena has shrugged off most of Rock's comments and not shown much emotion and animosity towards The Rock. Now, if you look at feud building dynamics, this is a complete stupid thing to think. That you're watching this and saying, why isn't Cena feeling emotionally intensified? This guy is ripping on everything he believes in, everything he's done, and he's not showing any disdain towards it. We're thinking, this is unbelievable. He's just like Cena, rising from nothing to win a match. This is the same thing. He just isn't showing human emotion. And I know what Roddy Piper said has obviously jerked something where he's starting to get to it now. But he's still not showing, and even in his promos, anything that can basically say, look, I hate The Rock. What he said to me is awful, and I want to get back at him for it. He's not showing any animosity you'd expect from a feud like this. And that's annoying for a person like me who wants to watch and get enthralled by this. I want to see The Rock completely rip Cena apart, because even though I'm not a huge Rock fan, I know his promo skills make it awesome to watch. But then I look at Cena, who goes, fine, You know, if he says I'm crap, you know, it's his opinion. Oh, come on. You can't be on the fence. You can either be saying, okay, you got me there, I can't, I'm going to have to accept that, I can't wrestle, that's fine. Or go, you know what, I can wrestle, I can go out there and I can damn sure out-wrestle you. You can't be the middle of the fence on something like this. It doesn't make sense, it's unrealistic, and it just makes me feel what the WWE are doing at that point. This point is just stupid. It's a stupid thing. And if you want me to believe in this feud leading up to WrestleMania, you gotta do something about that. Number 2, it was the wrong decision to announce the match early. And I know I've mentioned that after being announced early, everyone's been psyched for Mania. The issue is because obviously they haven't been able to keep the feud that fresh. Because The Rock has made, what, 3 appearances on Raw in the space of a year since the match happened. The match got announced. And I'm thinking to myself, what the hell? Because, okay, a war of words by Twitter is fine by me, because I don't give a shit about Twitter. I don't get involved with Twitter. I absolutely hate it to my guts. And I feel I'll just watch it from the sidelines and see how it intensifies. I'm fine. But in a wrestling rivalry, you cannot just have a war of words on Twitter, or especially when you're putting a match out a year before it happens. You don't have feud dynamics the usual way. You don't have the sparring off. In fact, the fact is, all we've seen from this so far is a few mic sessions and promo sessions and 2 rock bottoms at major pay-per-views. That, to me, is nothing. This has been one of the most poorly booked feuds. I know that Rock is in Hollywood making movies, probably making a sequel to the Fast Five, but look, I know this feud's out there, and during the audio of Dan Parkin, I said to myself, why don't we have Kane versus Cena at Mania? And I completely forgot that we have Rock Cena already there. I know it's there, but I still forget. Because we expect Mania matches to be announced after the Rumble, you know? When some feud dynamic of being screwed out of the Rumble is happening, you want to be able to feel the intensity of anger of being screwed out of the chance to main event WrestleMania, that someone will want to go after you. And it's just the fact that this match was announced so early that you think, okay, there's a lot of time to build this feud and keep it interesting. Because it hasn't happened, has it? It hasn't been that interesting. And we see Rock teaming with Cena, that we didn't even see, apart from a few taunts, any antagonism between the two. And Rock hasn't made any from a few from satellite appearances, but this isn't how a feud should work, especially when it's got the magnitude of a match at the end of it, which should be a giant payoff. Because the thing is, people are excited. It's Mania, I can see Rock wrestle Cena, finally. You're buying tickets for that. But if you're watching television in the lead up to this, you want to see something. And if you're not getting it, you're not getting the full worth of this feud. And people are getting disappointed by it. Me included. Because I want to see something from this feud. And I haven't seen much yet. I'm disappointed because I expected something from this. I expected a lot more. Now I know Rock's work schedule is different and he obviously can't do everything. But he's got to understand where the priorities lie. He wants to get this match to sell Mania. He's got to do something. Get your ass off your stupid little chair in a Hollywood studio where you're waiting for your part to be done, and then just go off and do something with WWE. Come to a few shows and surprise people and trash some people in the back. Maybe help Cena win something, then screw him out next week. Basically, do everything you can to keep this interesting, Rock, and you haven't done that. I'm thinking to myself, you could do way more. You could go to Cena's house and completely trash the place. Much like Edge did when we didn't trash the place, he kind of slapped his dad, but you gotta make this more personal than you have done already. There's nothing to build on, apart from a bit of a war of words. That's not fun. That's not fun at all. And finally, sorry. I don't know why, but I feel a bit ill. Never mind, the video still goes on. Number 3. And this is, in my opinion, the most important thing. Cena has not turned heel yet. Because in every feud, there is a good guy and there is a bad guy. Unless you count Austin Rock from X7. Because you couldn't really see about a good guy in that match, could you? But with this match, we know what's going to happen at WrestleMania. In Miami, in Dolphin Stadium. Yeah, I'm not going to call it the Sun Life Stadium. That's bullshit. We know that Rock is going to get cheered like no crowd has cheered a guy before. Well, Money in the Bank. Punk. But we know also that Cena is going to be the most hated guy on the planet for that match. And we know also that any crowd Rock is in, he is never going to get booed. So what's the best thing to do? Oh yeah, that's turn Cena heel. It's the thing that we have all prayed for and wished for so many years. It's our NWO Hogan moment, and we want it to happen. Because, especially in this feud, it makes sense. Because if Rock is going to be cheered everywhere, I can imagine a Cena heel ripping on the fact that The Rock is old news. He's the guy in the business currently who's making all the money. What are you doing? Selling yourself off to Disney to make all your money now. And it's just the fact that he can kind of rip into how Rock has lost his way and all these intense moments you could get, even in a promo sector from it. But it just ain't happening because Cena, he's being booed enough, but he's just not... He's not doing the job in this feud. Like I said earlier, he's on the fence. He isn't doing anything. He's not doing anything to get himself cheers, and he's getting boos because people hate him anyway. And they're selling Cena Sucks t-shirts. That's all good, and he's starting to get bugged by it. But we need to see a fully fledged heel turn. And I think people will agree with me on this. The best time for that to happen was Survivor Series. Because we saw the rock bottom and you saw my reaction. I was pissed off. People were also pissed off that we saw the same old recycled stuff from WrestleMania. We wanted to see Cena give Rock an FU and just walk out with the most angry looking face known to man. Because that would have made a lot more sense. Now, be retribution for costing me the title. I'll cost you your first match back. That is an even trading off. Rock's first match since 2004 to Cena's title loss at the biggest WrestleMania that he's been a part of, I think. I don't know. But it didn't happen. Because WWE did not want to do it. And I think that's a real shame. Because, in all fairness, it should have been done. It should have been done for the feud dynamics. It should have been done. But, you know what? They'll do it eventually. And this is where I go on to my next point. Because, as we know, we do have 97 days to go. Rock vs. Cena needs to build up significantly to get people interested. And I've got an idea of noting that the talking elements have to stop. The physicality must become more prominent now. Because this is the fact. We've had all the wars of words. We've had the promo segments, the Twitter war. We've had even a match where they've tagged with each other and only had one guy lay hand on the other. We need physicality to make this feud way bigger. Way bigger than it has been already. And then I've thought of 3 things that could happen at 3 pay-per-view events that are coming up. First off, is that Rock will have to screw Cena again. And to make the heel turn happen, we would need something big to make sure that Cena will have to turn heel event in that time frame. And in the Royal Rumble, The Rock will either screw Cena out of the WWE Championship if he's in a match with Punk, which, to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing again. But then again, making Cena lose dirty, that isn't something I want either. So here's my other point. He gets screwed out of the Rumble. He gets screwed out of the Royal Rumble by Rock. Makes more sense to me because it's a lot funner than seeing CM Punk win to a dirty finish, you know? And also, as we know, two faces in a match ain't going to work out well. So, Rock screws Cena out of the Rumble. He's angry, he's bitter, he's twisted. He wants to go to WrestleMania to fight for the championship. And he, seething, wants to beat the crap out of The Rock. And he turns heel by possibly being in a tag match on Raw, beating up Zack Ryder possibly, to really get the fans to go against him, you know? And that's something that he can do to basically say, look, fuck this. Fuck the fans. Fuck everything. I want to solely focus on The Rock, and I'm going to really lay it into him. And make this feud take a step up. Then, the Elimination Chamber. This one, pretty easy. There are two ways we can go for it. We can have Rock screwing Cena again with the Elimination Chamber match, maybe. And Cena's going to maybe join the R-Truth conspiracy. But then I found something better. Cena takes out Rock backstage. Rock is a special guest of John Laurinaitis and Teddy Long to watch and wonder who could be in the main events at WrestleMania, because the guy keeps an eye on the wrestling, doesn't he? So I thought, Cena comes and beats the holy hell out of the Great One backstage and leaves him in, I would say, a bloody mess, but leave him in a broken heap of what he used to be, a great in-ring talent. Leave him broken and basically completely buried. But would WWE risk burying The Rock a bit to make Cena look slightly strong in this feud? I'd be for it, because it makes sense. It's feud dynamics. If a heel gets screwed all the time by the face, that's not going to build him well. And for this match, Cena needs to look as strong as he can. And if he's screwed by Rock every chance they get, then I think he needs to get his own back. And this is perfect. So say Rock's in the middle of a buffet area where the Bella twins are talking to him again, and all's going well, and then bam, Cena comes in, beats him up in a PG food style fashion by just completely rubbing his face to everything, smashing it into walls, the backstage brawl that we all know and love. This will make everything better, won't it? Because it'll definitely make everything on an even playing field. You screwed me out of things, but I'm going to make sure you don't even make it to WrestleMania. Because it's gone way more than that. And that's something that you need to see from something like this. And finally, we get to Mania itself. Because obviously, people have debated Rock or Cena. Rock or Cena. Who is going to win this? And to be honest, I'm not really sure. Because some say Rock will win because it's his hometown. Because it's WrestleMania, and The Rock, if he's going to come back fully and stop his film career for a little bit, we need to obviously have him do what he has to do. And we'd all go completely mental that Cena lost, but if he gives it a shot and actually tries his hardest and comes off with only like a little bit left, he has a little bit in the tank and then gets rock bottom to people's elbow at the last minute, and he can't do it. That would be something. Cena would still look strong, we'd all be happy with the few dynamics there. But with Cena winning, we'd obviously have Miami completely descend into chaos. And it'll show that they believe Cena is bigger than The Rock, which is a complete honest. He's not. He's not. That's a complete overstatement. He's not as big as The Rock, even me knowing that. So would WWE risk people not tuning in to the Raw afterwards? Lord knows. And I feel they will, and I know they want Cena to beat Rock. But they also want Rock to win for other reasons. So, what would I say? Well, Rock beats Cena, and I'm going to take a leaf out of Stone Cold's book here. And that's the bottom line, because the home crowd says so. Because the crowd will determine the match outcome. They factored that when Punk was in Money in the Bank. They did that, and it worked out to perfection. And they should do the same here. The fact is, Cena is going to be ripped apart in the Dolphin Stadium. Over 70, maybe 80,000 in there. It's Sun Life Stadium. It's the sunny place. It's sunny side of Florida. And they're going to rip him apart. And to be honest, I think the match will get affected by the crowd because Cena will not like it. Because it'll be the first WrestleMania in years that he's legitimately booed out the building. And, well, it's something that we can look forward to. I think if Rock doesn't win, it just doesn't make sense. And I'll get more into it once the feud has taken shape, and I get to do my predictions on the 31st of March. Or was it 30th of March? I don't know. But, basically, when it gets to the predictions, I'll have a more clear idea on who I believe will win this. I think Rock should, but I'm not entirely sure on whether that will actually happen yet. So, watch the space, because anything can happen on here between now and Mania. Anything can happen on Raw or SmackDown between now and Mania. So we're all up for it. So overall, how do I feel that Rock and Cena has done so far? So far, pretty poorly. I expect a lot more from this feud by now. And I bet a lot of you were disappointed as well. All my subscribers, all the random viewers who spot this video, you're all disappointed that Rock and Cena hasn't done what it should have done. But I pray and I hope that this could all change. Because the Rumble is the perfect starting point for this feud now. To get bigger, to get more intense, to get much more exciting. And we can look forward to the main event of WrestleMania XXVIII with a lot more vigour and happiness on our side, right? That's all hope. And guys, that's the end of my video. I hope you've all enjoyed my analytical pros and cons on Cena, Rock, and I hope you want to put your opinions on about this feud. You know where to stick them. Yep, that's down there in the comment section. You can like this video, you can subscribe up there. You can also check out my other videos if you haven't. And I hope you've all had a very Merry Christmas, and I hope that this new year brings something incredible, because we all pray for that, aren't we? It's all good, I think. And you know what, guys, special treat for you guys next week, because next week will be New Year's Day on the Sunday when I do my video again. And you know what? The Wrestling Rant Awards. I'm doing my own little awards show. No, I didn't do one of these round the Slammies because I wanted to actually round off the whole year in style, you know? And so the first video of 2012 will be the Wrestling Rant Awards. I'll have 30 awards to give away, rhetorically, to wrestlers in WWE and possibly outside of it who are impacted in some way in the past year. We won't know what you don't know what happens with that yet, because I'm not releasing a shortlist. There isn't a fucking shortlist. I've made my decisions just about. I may need to watch Raw and SmackDown this upcoming week, even though I might be heavily angered and disgusted by what might happen on it. I might have to see what happens, but I hope you're looking forward to that one. And also, you guys want to add me on Facebook, and also search CreamCrazyWR on Skype. It's in the description box. Also in the description box is my poll for my defunct series and which ones should be revived. At the moment, in the news is Beating the Friday Flashback. Guys, you want your videos to win. You want Friday Flashback, the old pay-per-view reviews to come back. Do you want to see In the News to come back? Because at the moment they're winning and they're whooping Raw and SmackDown reviews arse right now. So guys, the link to the poll code is also down there in the description. Click on that when you can and get your votes in, because it will count. Because by the time the new year comes in, I'm going to make a final decision based on that poll. If you want old pay-per-view reviews or my wrestling news roundup, click that poll down there. I could do this on Facebook as a question, but then I know it might get lost. So that's why I got it on the internet. And guys, I'm going to leave it there. I've been Cream Crazy. You've been people watching. This has been my Rock vs Cena analysis vid, and I hope going into Boxing Day, all the football teams you may support, or anything that happens in the lead up to the New Year celebrations, I hope you enjoy yourself, and I hope everything that you do goes well. Cheers.